Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody's having a lovely day. And with that being said, let's get into the TA. Alright, guys, so we're going to take a little sneak peek at this weekly chart. This is what we typically do on these Fridays, guys. Just know my Friday videos, they will come a little bit earlier. Why? Because we'll have the weekly update, which we will be covering everything that we need to talk about in detail. So they're typically going to be longer videos. We have a bunch more included in those videos. But as of right now, guys, I want to take a quick little sneak peek at the weekly candlesticks that we got across the board. And we're going to look at the intraday time frames. And I'm actually going to point out something on the daily time frame that, you know, just food for thought there. So, and then obviously some individual ticker setups that I think are looking decently juicy. All right, let's get into it. So first things first, weekly candlesticks, guys. You have a bullish engulfing candlestick. It is a wide-bodied green big bar, okay? I do understand you have declining volume on the week. I don't know how big this volume spike on Friday, like, you know, end of day today is going to be. All right, Friday's end of the day. Volume spike, it could be significant, but it's not going to be significant enough to get you above there. So we will have decreasing volume. That is something to take note of. All right, it is not the end of the world. I still do think, hey, all right, we're going to be going higher next week, going off of these weekly candlesticks, just like we were going off of last week's candlesticks. Guys, when things looked really freaking bleak, where did we reference? Here on the weekly time frame. And we pointed out, yeah, things look like they could pull back, but guess what? The weekly candlestick. It was a bullish candlestick. We don't typically mark the top with these things. We can mark the top with these things, but go back and find the last one where it did. And yeah, you know what? I'm not even going to try and find it because I don't think we're going to find it here over the past few years, all right? Regardless, now we have another bullish candlestick. So you come over here to QQQ. What do we also have? We have a pullback to the weekly 9 EMA, and now we have another bullish candlestick. Guys. All right, pat yourself on the freaking back if you've been tracking this thing with me on this channel. All right, I'm just putting it out there. This thing doesn't look like it's about to stall. It looks like it's been consolidating for 3 weeks here. You got your pullback to your healthy pullback to the weekly 9 EMA, just like you did over here, and just like you did over here, like you were consolidating for a few weeks. Boom. You printed one of these off the weekly 90, and then you started going. I am not saying we're about to do that. I'm not saying we're going to be doing this at all over the coming months. I am definitely going to be tracking things as we go, but I'll just point out, or I'll reference what's happened in the past, consolidate for a few weeks, get exactly what we have right here, and then you skyrocket, all right? Again, I am not saying that's going to happen. I am just pointing to the facts, all right, guys? I will continuously point out here on this channel what I am seeing on this charts. I don't care about people's biases. I don't care about my bias. I will point out what I see on these charts. And right now, they're bullish. IWM, what do you also have? You have a weekly hammer candlestick. Now, again, I'm going to highlight that we have this lackluster volume here. Again, not the end of the world, but you don't want a bullish candlestick with, lackluster volume. It's just not the best look. It shows you that one of them is lying. It's typically going to be the candlestick. All right, but I'll just show you right now, guys, everything's looking bullish. I don't think, I don't care about this declining volume all that much, okay? We had a big event week this week. We knew for a fact, all right, that people were waiting on the sidelines, and we knew for a fact it was going to come down to NVIDIA. We also knew for a fact here on this channel that we had so many freaking charts across the board ready to run. We had NVIDIA ready to run. We had AMD ready, like just ready to bounce. I don't want to say run. I want to say bounce as we went into that big event. And then as you guys see, yeah, all right, charts predicted the news yet again. All right. So, decreasing volume on the week, guys, I'm not going to give too much weight to it. All right. It's going to happen. But yeah. All right. Now let's take a look at Mr. VIX. Last week, guys, we pointed out how everybody was getting really freaking perma-bearish on us. And guys, if that is you, just know, I will not be in either camp, okay? So just like, you can go against me on what I discuss here on this channel. But I promise, I guarantee you guys, I'm not in either camp. I will never be in either camp. I will simply just keep pointing out what I see on these charts, which as everybody was in the bear camp, I pointed out this. Guys, you had bullish weekly candlesticks on SPY, QQ, DIA, IWM, as well as some of these other big names. And then you have this on VIX suggesting you're not going to have a bullish week the next week on Mr. VIX. You have people sell off Mr. VIX. All right. It just did not, you know, it wasn't looking like it. But guess what? Sneak peek at this week's candlestick is also bearish. Okay. You see how we put in these things? You don't really expect too much out of VIX. All right. You put in something like this, you expect a little more out of VIX. You put in something like this, you expect a little more out of VIX. All right. Something like this, you expect. I'm just putting it out there. Bearish candlestick on VIX, bullish on SPY, QQ, IWM, DIA, Apple, piece of poop. Okay. Piece of poop. We're going to be discussing that in today's video as well. All right. Which I actually want to talk about something here. Okay. I do want to talk about something. Before we go any further, guys, I am conflicted. And I want to bring this up to you guys today because I have experienced a trappy market where I'm just seeing my long setups invalidate. All right. And the last time I'm going to point to it. All right. I had this thought today and I thought I'd share this with you guys. I pointed to it right over here. I specifically remember calling out that we were in a trappy freaking market here. And I was seeing all my long setups just invalidate. So we had to stay patient. All right. I'm just putting it out there. All right. I'm seeing that exact same thing here. We're seeing a bunch of long setups that are just not getting the follow through that in like a different market environment we might be getting. What does that tell you? All right. We have, you know, select, you know, a few names just rocket shipping to all-time highs and carrying the market higher. Hashtag NVIDIA. All right. But then you have the other stuff that I'm also taking a look at that are continuously having the long setups invalidate. All right. So I'm just putting it out there. We have a mixed market right now, and I think it is best, all right? It is best to take a step back. We don't have that blindly obvious opportunity right now, all right? We're not in a raging, like we are in a bull market, but I'm not going to call it a, like, this is your shot at the raging bull. This is your entry point. No, I think you're buying into all-time highs, and like I'm trying to focus on individual setups that are going to be running with SPY and QQ if they continue, but I am not... Yeah, I'm just saying, guys, that is something I picked up today. I picked up on this today, and I realized, holy crap, the last time we were in this, we kept just staying in that trappy market until we had the next leg up. All right, now we did just end up breaking out. This was a range that we're kind of in the same price point. We're going to say from this candlestick right here, all right, up until yesterday. So, yeah, we did have 2 weeks of consolidation here. So, you know, call this your next leg up. But then I'm going to reference this big guy right here. Thank you, Heisenberg, on Twitter. I saw this thing right there, and I was like, oh, guess what? I've been pointing out, we've had this bearish divergence, you know, and I've been also pointing out, it's just a warning sign, guys. We don't know when it's actually going to be playing out. It's just telling us that eventually we're going to have a decent-sized sell. I think that sell is going to come down to 480, all right? So I just want to, you know, share my thoughts with that. At some point, this thing will roll over. I don't think it's rolling over yet. But now let's take it down to the smaller time frames. All right, the 15-minute time frame. Let me point out what I am seeing here. All right, so you did end up breaking down through trend line here. All right, guys, if you are having trouble maneuvering through this market and tracking this price action, I constantly update SPY, QQ, and IWM throughout the day on these smaller time frames. I constantly kind of call things to a T. You know, I'm not always going to be perfect, but I can guarantee if you have been struggling on tracking the indices in this market as well as some individual tickers, all right, I definitely can offer a very solid amount of value there. All right, and the education factor of that is, I'm just going to say, I've got a ton of messages so far telling me that, yeah, no, we got what other groups don't, okay? Like, people are accelerating their journey, and that's all I want, guys. That is all I want. All right, that is also there. But let's go over it right here, right now, guys. You're breaking down from your trend line here, all right? You're at the top of this, all right, channel. So that's why I want to start off with that before I went here. You are stalling out at the, like, literally exactly at the top. All right, we're going to take off this ugly thing. We're going to take off that trend line for the time being just so we have a clean chart here. We're going to also take off that. And now let's point out some things, all right? First things first, big old bearish divergence, all right? Big old bearish divergence. If you take out this high, you will have a quadruple bearish divergence. Guys, every single one of these we have seen play out for a very long time. You can have a scenario like this, all right, where you just don't put them in. And yeah, all right, we would have been bullish on the dip. But guys, they're there right now. I pointed out over here, when we had them going on, we got our $5 sell. All right. I pointed out over here. Guess what? We got our $5 sell. Okay. You got a $13 sell. So I'm looking for that decent sell. I don't know when it's going to come, but I'm just going to point that out in today's video. I do think that we are, you know, I'm going to say upside right now is limited. I have a target of 511. All right. We've hit all of the other Fibonacci extensions that I was looking for. But the last one is 511. I do expect this dip to be bought up. I want to make that clear. All right. We just hit a fresh all-time high here on SPY and QQQ. We're going to come over here to QQQ. All right. Let me take off that. Let me just point out here. Fresh all-time high, guys. When was the last time you peaked above your previous high and then didn't push up, didn't have another leg up? I'm just putting it out there. You're not going to slightly overthrow it and then have a massive sell-off and then boom, rug pull. It's just, you know, it could happen. It could happen. You see here how you had the lower high and then you broke that and then you know, oh, it's over. Daily downtrend. Guys, you're in an uptrend. You just like, you know, you're actually trendless right now just because you had a lower low. Now you have a higher high. So we got to wait for something to develop here. But SPY, guys, this is our knight in shining armor here. Okay. You're in an uptrend. Okay. And QQ just broke out from this bull flag. I don't think this is it. I'm just going to be blatantly clear on that. I don't think this is it. I think we're going to be able to hit this.
That looks easy.
When we start, I think next week we're going higher, guys. I don't know, you know, how else to say that. But like I just pointed out over on SPY, we have reasons to, you know, think like, hey, we're going to be getting that sell. Now, here's the thing that makes me think that maybe this thing does continue. But I still think that sell's right around the corner anyway. QQQ, I was looking for your $5 pullback here. All right. You did end up getting that. You got it. You literally perfectly tapped your demand zone. I was literally looking at the 435 to 436 demand zone over there. Let's actually see if we can. Oh, you see right there. Finally seeing that 15 minutes bearish divergence play out. Looking for a test of 436. I want to see buyers step in at the 435 to 436 demand zone. All right, guys. You know, this is just, that is that. Guess what? All right, you did follow that error. You did get buyers stepping in here, and here's what is going to be important. Can you come up here and break this high, guys? I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. Right now, you're not looking too bad. You literally have the 5-minute RSI come over to oversold territory. Perfectly aligned with our demand zone. Got buyers stepping in. You could see a hammer. Well, not a hammer. You see a big fat doji candlestick followed by some green candlesticks there. So, you know, buyers were stepping in there. All right, but SPY did not get a pullback at all. So, you know, you may have almost gotten your $5 sell here on a QQQ, and I'm satisfied on that one. But what is this? All right, it's a $3 sell. They don't always lead to something. I'm just going to put it out there. The vast majority of the time, we're going to not see it do this. Like, this isn't even what we got going on here. This has been taking some time like this to carve out, and eventually you're going to get a decent rug pull, and I'm going to be bullish on the rug pull. All right, now, what you can watch for intraday here is if you break down through this low, you're probably going to start that decline. All right, if you can. Why? Because you are literally going to set yourself up with a high, a low, a lower high, and if you break that, you will have a lower low. And I have to assume you're probably going to be sellers taking you down to 503.50, which is the previous all-time high, and that is a dip I am more than willing to buy. All right, understand you have this really, really big gap here. All right, guys. Let me just reference some gaps, all right? And this is why I was bullish on today. I didn't think you were just going to die off, and I'm still kind of bullish, guys. I'm going to be completely honest, all right? That's why I was saying conflicting earlier in the video. I'm conflicted because I see my long setups, you know, a good amount invalidating, and last time I had this thought, and I noticed this, I remember telling you guys here on the channel, and yeah, all right, we're in Chop City, and it was best not to, hey, get involved with stuff like that. All right, good. Like, these are the times to size down and stuff. I'm just putting it out there. There's that. That's why I'm conflicted. But I'm also seeing stuff that suggests we're going higher next week, baby. So I don't know. All right. Is it a little higher? I don't know. I'm going to keep tracking it just day by day here. You guys are here with me. All right. We'll be here. Just literally, we will see if things change. But as of right now, we're going higher next week with all likelihood. All right. But yeah, reference some of these gaps, guys. You had a gap here. You did end up filling. But I want to talk about this big boy. You had a 2% gap up that's pretty similar to a 2% gap up right here. All right. You never filled that gap. You had a 2% gap up right here. You never filled that gap. You gapped up here, you had a 1% day. You never filled that gap. Up here, never filled that gap. Here, it never filled the gap. All right. I'm just putting it out there, guys. We've seen these gaps not get filled, and the market clearly can go higher as everyone's getting, you know, bearish and saying it can't go higher. It can. I just pointed out on QQQ on the weekly time frame here that, you know, because last time we had a similar candlestick setup here on the weekly time frame was back here, and then you exploded. I'm not at all saying you're going to explode, but like, just look at what I'm saying, all right? You just broke out to a fresh all-time high. You're probably not just going to stall out and die, all right? Just putting it out there, all right? Let's get into some individual tickers, okay? First thing I'm actually going to point out is our darling Apple over here, which still just decides to do absolutely nothing with the market, all right? I'm just going to say right now, 100%, there's a massive seller here on Apple. I don't need to go look at... You know, I don't need to go look at the options flow to know that one. SPY and QQ go up. Apple somehow still goes down. So not only is we have a normal seller pushing price down, but, you know, you have doubled the selling strength as the buying strength because, you know, normally Apple goes up with SPY and QQ. Guess what? All right, guess what? It's going down, which means someone has an equivalent amount of selling pressure as to what's being provided by the buying pressure of QQQ and SPY. All right. And then they have more. All right. What the heck is this? While QQQ does that and recovers. All right. But also this is what happened with QQQ. All right. You have this. Okay. That's how you started your day. And then you have, you know, this straight sell here on Apple. All right. So I just want to, you know, oh, that was Thursday. I'm looking. I thought we were on the 15-minute time frame. I'm going to be completely honest. All right. Right here. And then you got that going on over there on Y. And then you have Apple. All right. Sorry, I mixed up my time frames there. Did not know we were on the hourly time frame. I was going to say, I swear I was watching something this morning. Regardless, guys, Apple here is doing the scenario that we talked about the other day, in which it stalls out here at the trend line, creates a neckline, and now we are looking for a higher low. All right. But I do want to say there's a massive seller here. Guaranteed. Why has Apple not been moving up? As SPY and QQ been pushing all-time highs? There is a seller keeping this thing down. Is there a catalyst around the corner that I don't know about? And it's just going to kind of shoot up after everyone gets pissed off at Apple? It very well could, honestly. All right. Whenever this seller is gone, Apple's going to explode. Until that seller's gone, Apple's going to do the BS. All right. I think it's taking its dear sweet time. I think we have a sexy inverse head and shoulders setup going on here on the hourly time frame. We did talk about this. We were prepared for this. You get rejection at the trend line. It's going to align with right over here. Then you have a neckline to go off of. Now we're looking for a higher low. You have buyers stepping in exactly at the golden pocket, as you can see right here. All right, guys. This don't look bad. You finally get your breakout from this trend line, which again, you are stalling out pretty much exactly on it. All right. You get your breakout here. I want to see a daily close above it. You break above this neckline here, which is going to be right at 185. That is when you probably have a straight shot to 186.79, and you probably very quickly end up going like that. So this is kind of how I'm thinking, guys. This at some point is going to happen, or this at some point is going to happen, because this is absolute nothing. All right, nothing when you have SPY and QQ doing this. There was no reason for it not to have a massive move, yet it had no move. All right, so Apple, keep it on the radar. I like the 315 expiration. I think you're going to get paid. All right, next one we're going to talk about. All right, AV to the go. Before we talk about AV to the go, we're going to talk about SMH. Okay, SMH came down here and had perfect break and retest. You found buyers sitting exactly at your previous all-time high. This is exactly what I was just saying about QQ, guys. Where do you see these things just push up to a fresh all-time high, roll over, and not quickly go back to a fresh all-time high? Okay, so this potential, guys, you know, SPY could pull something like this, okay, and then bullish on that dip. All right, very bullish on that dip, I'm going to be honest. But yeah, guys, SMH, break and retest, fresh all-time high, probably carries the chips up with them. Now we're going to talk about AV to the go. Okay, AV go. This is one that we've talked about a few times here on this channel. All right, you literally had buyers stepping in right here at your golden pocket. All right, at the 0.786, right at the bottom. And they stepped in and they saved the day. NVIDIA saved the market. and SMH is all of a sudden at a new all-time high. And now Avco is at a new all-time high. Guess what? This thing likes to run when it breaks out. I'm putting it on your radar. I don't know how far it's going to run, but this thing likes to run when it has breakouts. These are the above targets. There you go. Have fun. Have a jolly good time. There you go. All right. We're going to talk about a little chip guy right here. All right. AMD. I'm going to say Trap freaking City right here. That's what I'm going to say. Trap City. Guys, until you can break above 184.92, this thing is Trap City. Okay. Last week, we had a hammer candlestick, I believe on Thursday, and then Friday they tanked it. Look at that. You're sitting up here Friday. They turn it into a doji candlestick. Thursday, this week, you're sitting up here with the juiciest looking weekly candlestick I've ever seen. And now you have an indecision candlestick again. Because they're teasing you. It's the same thing I was just saying on Apple. Whenever they stop, this thing's going to fly. But for the time being, they're here and it's Trap City. All right? There you go. NVIDIA. Stalling out right here at our first target. Guess what? I think you're going to be going higher. NVIDIA just had a fresh all-time high breakout. It also just had really sexy earnings with a big move up. Don't be surprised if this guy consolidates here, but if you get a retest here off of 746.43, which is the high of this candlestick, 746.11. Got that one wrong. There you go. You get a retest. Oh, no, I didn't have it wrong. I did have it wrong. Okay, 746.11. If you get the retest of 746.11, bullish. Okay, bullish. Just putting it out there. We're going to actually set an alert because this is something I will be taking my shot at if I get it. All right, guys. NVIDIA is a beast. This is why you don't short the beast. You don't freaking do it. Okay? Something setting up for next week. CELH, I mentioned this in yesterday's video. You found buyers stepping in here at the break and retest. It looks like you are going to be pushing up to $69 next week. All right? I'm just putting it out there. This thing has, when it has a green week, it has a green week. You're probably going to be breaking these all-time highs next week. Boom. All right? Next one we are going to be discussing is going to be the Tesla. Okay? The Tesla is looking absolutely immaculate. Now, I'm just putting it out there. You have not started your run up. All right? You switched to an uptrend here because you broke above this high. All right? And now, guess what? You're consolidating right here on your neckline, guys. This kind of looks immaculate. You also are consolidating above the 9 EMA. You've been dying for a straight 40 days here and could not get above the 9 EMA. Now, you are consolidating above it, consolidating above your neckline here. If you really want to have a horizontal neckline, you're also consolidating on that horizontal neckline. And you have decreasing volume. You have increasing volume on the big breakout day, decreasing volume the rest of the days. I'm just, during this consolidation, I'm just putting out that this thing probably getting ready to rip. Probably, very likely getting ready to rip. See how it took its time down there? Rip. Didn't take time. All right, took some time. Rip. Took some time. Rip. All right. I think we're just taking some time. All right. But I do think this thing is loading. I think it's getting pretty juicy. And this is what I was saying. We have some setups here that suggest like, yeah, they're, reversing. All right. Which could add a bunch of fuel to the market. But then you have the traps that I was talking about. All right. It's Trap City and we're seeing long setups invalidating. I'm like, gosh darn, man. That was a clean setup. Why are you doing that, Mr. Market? Mr. Market. All right, guys. Now, let's just close out the video by taking a look at these weekly candlesticks. You got a NVIDIA. All right. You got a Carvana. Bullish on Carvana. We talked about this in yesterday's video. I told you guys it was rather urgent. If you wanted to gamble, you're open to being a gambler today. Carvana was the ticker to be gambling on today. Well, yesterday. This is why. Carvana is known to have these big moves, and I referenced we had a 40% move over here. Well, guys, guess what? High of day, you had like a 50-something% move. So, no, not 50%, 40-something% move, right? So you're on par with that. I'm just putting it out there. If you come back for the break and retest here, all right, you got the break, come back for the retest, we're bullish. All right, you come back and test 57.6, we're bullish. All right, this weekly chart is immaculate. I understand there's a wick right there. Guess what? We're looking for higher price. We're looking for whatever dip we get here to be bought. All right. You have nothing in between this level and 97.70, which is the low of this weekly candlestick right here. Nothing. I'm bullish on Carvana. All right. Last one we're actually going to talk about is coin. All right. And we will talk about this weekly chart. This thing looks immaculate. All right. You see this? All right. You see this? Yeah. Perfect break and retest. You just got past the high. You do have that bearish divergence going on. You did have that increasing volume here. I don't think that's the high. All right. I think you literally are getting exactly what we were looking for on the focus list, which was a retest of this 161.38 level. Now, did I think we were going to get that retest? No, I thought this thing was going to keep taking off. And then I saw this candle. I was like, oh, it's definitely taking off. It didn't take off. All right. I think you got something pretty big loading over here. Let's actually take a look at bit of the corn. What are we doing over here, Bitcoin? You consolidating right here in your supply zone, because you got to break above there and you're going to see coin run. All right. With that being said, I love you guys. I'll catch you all in the next one. Everybody have a lovely rest of your day. We have an exciting weekly update tomorrow. And with that being said, peace.